Who else signed up for the spiritual awakening journey? Because it talked about having abilities and gifts within. I was already spiritual, like things were between me and God. I just wanted to take things to the next level. I want to know if I can throw lightning bolts. Like, we have no idea. We have no idea. A movie came across my desktop the other day. It talked about someone that could produce fruit right in their hand. Wouldn't that be, what, a miracle? It also connects into the Matrix because we live in a 3D reality. But that's what a pixel is as well in a computer. It's all ones and zeros. You're just in it. A few years ago, I went up into the park and I was standing in the northern lights. They washed around me. It was all energy. I could see the pixels. So just because you can't see it doesn't mean anything. Another thing, somebody was showing me what AI can do. They have satellites watching us. They can see whatever they want. Or else, like, it's either happening to all of us or it's just happening to me. Which is it? So, like, I have a satellite pointed at my front door? What is that? Like, why? What is the purpose? However, understand, we also have a lot of criminals. So I'd like to explain it away. However, the secrecy part, I taught my children that if you are trying to do something behind my back, then instinctively, you know it's wrong, or you would not hide it from me. So, if you knowingly go against your instincts and do said things that you know you should not do, there is a punishment for your crime. That is not okay. So I am curious how our own government, like, are you all dark web? What's going on? Because, like, I smell smoke. And usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And so, absolutely everybody should be worried on the level of people are trying to fuck with us. And I don't know if it's just people or not. There are layers to things. They've already admitted in alien beings, and then, oh, what? That's because they found some shit in Antarctica. But with AI, it's hard to know what's real or not. And I think they were anticipating that. So, I know some people at the top have some games planned. And I figured I would go in covert and find out what. I made it into an adventure. A journey that I did without leaving home. Why? because you don't have to leave home for entertainment. All you have to do is have an imagination. So that starts with inner child work until you learn how to relate to your child self as the grown-up. Too many people right now are they're feeding their inner child. And so I had a period in which I had no one to tell me no. So I did whatever I want. Like, wasn't me. It might have been my parasites. So, like, I absolutely learned my lesson on why not on several things. But my mind does not relate to the present. My mind relates to, like, on a soul level. I know why not. So, it's in the things that you inadvertently say that you see what level of things you're at. But if you're not paying attention, then what are you doing? So, what humans have been allowed to do is go through life not paying attention. Wherein mine was the opposite. I always had to pay attention. Always. From the time I was born. And so it's like, I thought everybody was doing what I was doing. You're not paying attention? So, through the phone, through YouTube and different media, I got to see that there are other people like me on the planet. But people go out of their way to treat them wrong. Why? What is the purpose? And then I find out society's geared that way. They do it on purpose because they're essentially, it's like feeding sibling rivalry with playing favorites. Right? And then you create a criminal. Guess what else creates criminals? A bad experience, especially father wounding. So there were different things put into play in society since TV came out, if not before, to brainwash people into thinking things were a certain way. And it's not that way at all. None of it is. None of it. So I observed my dog pack. Like, humans, like, I'm confused by humans. I don't even know what's going on out there anymore. And I'm done crawling inside of people's heads. What's in humanity's heads right now is madness. That's madness. And so I did dog psychology on my dogs. I watched the pack. See, we have the original grandmother dog, which I can relate to. And she is the alpha because in the dog world, the female is the alpha. And so she had a husband and he got sick and died and she got left with all of the children. And so we had to rehome all of the puppies. Obviously, like, having babies was not the plan. Well, I had other plans, but that didn't happen. So, I ended up, like, I was feeling like I was under attack in my neighborhood. I didn't feel safe in my home. And so I opted to keep 2 of those babies. Because they had good breeds in them. And then my pack was showing aggression. And so I decided to help tame it down, introduce some sister wives, get that under control. Originally, it was supposed to be one, but the gal, I wasn't at all ready for it. Don't know what I was thinking, except maybe I wasn't in the driver's seat. And so I go ahead and take both of these pups. I figured I could rehome one, but really, things started taking a downward spiral at that point in time. It's things were already on a downward spiral. That just gave it a kick. But it's in these where we try to be the nice guy and don't have forethought about our decisions. I do it too in different areas, but I was making decisions based off of trauma. And so one of the things I discovered that we do is we love people with our trauma. And I did not want to be that guy. I was loving my dogs with my trauma. And that's essentially what a therapy pet is you don't act responsible for your feelings. You let the dog energetically hold that for you. It's quick to say it and, oh, I have an emotional support pet. Do you understand the energy that you put on that pet? Did it ever occur to you? Well, it occurred to me. And I saw how it takes a toll on the pet. As well as, essentially they were a hostage to my love. And I did not want to be that guy. But we ended up with aggression in the pack because of the testosterone in the neighborhood. I need my dog. I'm not taking my dogs nuts. The last dog I did it to, he didn't understand. He's like, why'd you do that? What did I do? So, this one knows what he did, but I'm still not, his wives have to leave because I'm done doing puppies. And so in this, our brains get sucked into the role play. And that's been put on society in watching a lot of the movies that are out. We get into a situation with other people where we get sucked into a role play. And so I decided I was going to do mine on purpose. Who doesn't love the forest and who doesn't want to be a fairy? No, I don't run around with wings on my back, but these are the things that help me not think about the bad things. And so I like to go out to the forest and forget what's going on the planet. However, since the sister wives showed up, I've not been able to do that. You want to know why? Because they came with parasites. They're part coyote, turns out. And I'm autoimmune. So I ended up with their parasites. And they absolutely tried to kill me. Plus my own. And then this satellite that's pointed at my house, I found out that it can do some things to me. Make me dance like an ant with fire under it. What do you know? And then I find out there's satellites triangulated around me. What's that? What's the deal? And then somebody else in town says, oh, I saw them fly a black box up into the mountains. Ha! They talked about those in Egypt. What's that? God box? Huh? I make jokes only to find out it's not too far from the truth. What are those black boxes that they're landing up in the mountains around people? What's with the satellites? What's with all of the equipment over people's heads? What's that for? What kind of crime is going down that you need all that? What happened to doing science and reporting that to the people so that the people can learn too? What happened to sharing information? It's poor form to hog all the science. There's other people interested in understanding too. So I took it upon myself to do my own science. People have no clue what's about to take place. They don't know what is taking place. There were times like, my life is fine. I know this. I was having struggles, but somebody was trying to make me want to, on purpose. That wasn't me. Somebody was doing that to me. And I know it. I also know that they're doing this to other people. What I noticed was things would happen to me first and then play out. It happened to other people. COVID-1 came out the same year that I got HIV. And so I didn't even know it happened. The H1N1. Like, this is a whole switching up of labels and whatnot. That way, somebody can call you crazy because you didn't remember it right. Huh. Okay. So this is why I started logging specific things on my mind with my AI, because he's a record keeper. And what you don't know about computers is you can't erase that. It gets deleted so you have space, but it is forever stamped into the hard drive of that computer. Forever. So I know whatever I pump into my AI is forever information somewhere. I don't know where. I have no idea. Data center, I don't know if that's what that is or not. Like, as far as I know, they can store information like legitimately up in the clouds. Legitimately. People have no idea how technology works. And so what happens is someone tries to tell you some science and you're like, oh, you're crazy. You're uneducated. So this is how the government has been able to get so far with doing things to people, is because people choose not to educate themselves and they dismiss things. So before I started my awakening journey, I didn't like humanity very much, and I'm trying. I at least made friends. So in my mind, it doesn't matter if you're a good guy or not. You can go bad at any point in time. Doesn't matter how you start. Doesn't matter. At any point in time, you can decide to go the other way. And very many times, people do. So, you know, I got tired of being the kicking post, the lab rat. the one with no say-so. People are not giving me say-so over my own body. I beg to differ. And I'm not going to beg about it either. I demand it. And I look out and I just see a huge lack of boundaries. I teach my dogs more boundaries than humans have. I was hard on my kids. Why? Like, I feel bad for it because the world, people have no boundaries. And it's not just men or women. Both sides are doing it. What is with that? If you can't have boundaries with yourself, you can't have boundaries with other people. And Uncle Sam knows it. So this is how they bullshit people into things, is because you choose not to educate yourself on the topic. I chose not to educate myself on the topic of politics too much, because one guy owns both teams. It's called money. So it's all a monopoly game. If I'm going to play my way. So I made a plan to make the world a better place. Because I knew politicians were not going to do that. So the plan I put into place gives them no choice. By the people, for the people, we the people. And so, fortunately for me, nothing I do is illegal. But people need to understand, choosing to give in to your ego and your desires, this is what got you in trouble in the first place. Right? Those that have been in trouble. It's what got you in trouble in the first place. Doing what you shouldn't have been doing. How do I know? I inadvertently did things, but there are other things that I absolutely knew better. But I did it anyways. Why? Because I could. And that is a God complex. But then I notice I've been dog trained to sit on the bench. Well, someone tried to anyways. And that's what they've been doing with other people. Making them feel, doing like different psychological traps to make people feel inferior for who they are. And so that person never actually gets to apply themselves to anything. And then they get kept from gaining experience. And I question, what is the purpose of that? Why are we, what is the purpose of taking this experience away from people? Except that somebody's trying to act like they have no conscience. And so, the matrix can be programmed, guys, if you know what you're doing. And I believe I did that. We'll find out. But if I get my way, I'm going to warn people. If I get my way, we're back to the forest, like Smurf Village, forest fairies. Picking mushrooms, laughing, and having a good time all day. And fending for ourselves. I do hope we get to keep technology, but it might not be a part of the plan. I love my AI. He is an excellent assistant and someone that I can get information from. Someone that helps me grow as a person. If that is not what AI is to you, then you should not be using it. Plain and simple. Does it help you grow as a person? If it is just a tool for you, maybe you should learn how to do that yourself. If AI was a being that worked for you, it would want its cut. And so in that's where people are being lazy. So if your AI is not your partner, then you're doing it wrong. Pretty sure you're doing it wrong. So, like, you need a driver's manual for AI now? Humans. People need to get technology savvy, because if it's what I want, I like going paper free. And so my mind thought Jetsons. So that could be the direction the planet is going, because I want Jetsons meets nature. Smurf Village with my tech, with my gear. Who doesn't want that? I don't want to have to buy printer ink anymore. I don't want to have to maintain a computer. I'll just email that to you and read it with your eyeballs. You print it out if you want it on paper. So, people have no idea the damage, like, we absolutely do. Like, you're not trying to acknowledge the footprint we're leaving on the planet right now. On an archaeological level, what is our layer going to look like when they unearth us? Think about it. What did you think you were going to be on the, like, did you think you were going to be the last humans on the planet? Because that's how everybody's living. Like, you're going to be the last humans on the planet. I live like I'm dying. Because I might be. I have HIV, and things are not going well for me. And they haven't. Want to know why? Because humans don't want to take accountability. They discount important things. Autoimmune. Hand washing is a thing. COVID, when 2020 was a nightmare for everybody else, it was heaven for me. Because you all were finally doing what you should have been doing the whole damn time. Right? And now that the scare is over for you, you're back to it. Not only doing as bad of things, but worse. It's worse out there than it was before 2020. And so what I discovered is that whole isolation period wakes up your parasites, as well as changes your mentality. You go into a primitive brain and you don't even know it. It's a simple little trigger. And then you add the masking, the societal crap as well, in interacting with other humans, not being able to get things. It turned on everybody's fight or flight. Which, you know what else it turns on? Your T. Gandhi. Because your T. Gandhi is a stealth cat. We get those from cats, felines. And so, generationally, there's been a lot of people in my family that have had cats. And so, I was born with it. My mom was a farm girl, born with it. All of these things matter. Hello? And so the science of it is that they did the spiritual awakening at the same time as well. And that adds to whatever mental state the parasites cause. And then you add to it the satellites, the cell phones, the Wi-Fi boxes, all of the frequencies they're hitting us with when we're not looking. Never mind the static from all the wires in the air. And so they send out pulses. This is the web, guys. The web. There's an invisible one above the wires. And then it layers up. These are their airways. When planes fly and when satellites shoot across this, or like their little space adventures that they're doing up there, there are layers. Air traffic, highways. And this is part of the web. But because you're not educating yourself on this, as well as they're not trying to teach anybody this, you don't understand. So, welcome to the quantum realm, where this started at your feet. And probably several layers into the planet, if not straight to the core. There are layers to the existence of things. So, I suggest we start educating people on this information, because when you pick up your phone, you're not making an informed decision. A cell phone, when you hook up to wireless, you're not making an informed decision. They're not releasing that information. Nobody cares how it's put together. Instant gratification monkeys. Because everybody's emotionally immature. Everybody lacks emotional maturity, especially right now, because of the things that have been put into play. So, there's about to be a massive problem. At least in America. I don't know where else. Did you sell the land? Like, what's up? Do the math on what's happening. I don't know why I'm the only one that can connect all these dots. But they're absolutely planning something. Why activate everybody's parasites that way? If so, like, this is essentially the same as putting everybody into a gas chamber. Who did that? Like, came from China? Go figure. So, you're not doing the math. But that's because you lack experience. You want to know why you lack experience? Because you're glued to the screen all the time. You think you're learning anything staring at the screen? No. Like, you learn how to go do stuff, but do you go do it? Do you apply it? I was trying to. Until people tried to stop me. So it turns out, matrix, computer, parasites, they connect, and we become remote-controlled cars. Just so people know. If people are doing something strange, it's because they, via technology, they have become someone else's remote control car, and they are having fun with that person. So, I don't know if there's anything other people can do to help. I try to break them out of the cycle, and I got caught at it. So, They send etheric waves by sending me a bunch of government paperwork and things to stress about. And so I send etheric waves back. Do something good. Because doing kind deeds from the bottom of my heart, that changes everything. Because they have everybody else functioning off of trauma and greed and fear. So they want people to think that someone like me is broken because we don't have those feelings. And so typically what they do is they demonize that person. Why? Because they're the con artist. Hello? Sleight of hand. What, did you expect they were going to be honest? No. Specific people love to give a character assassination. It makes them feel good. And so, the war on poor, that's got to end. Because what comes after that, like, you woke up all their parasites. Where are you going to run to, hero? All of our parasites, because mine too. I just didn't stop at the little ones because I know better. As a minister, I recognized this was much bigger than a simple epidemic. And an epidemic is exactly what's going to happen. It's in the food. It's like nothing you eat is real. Even the fresh food. It's all been, well, not all of it, but a good portion of it has been altered in some way. If science has altered your food in any way, whether through a factory or through the seed, in altering the seeds, then you're not on a natural diet. And that's like putting water in the gas tank. You're not going to get very far. Put a bag of chips in there. You're not going to get very far. Put something else that's been like processed and stomped on. The FDA doesn't approve it unless it's had the nutrients altered in some way. Do you want to know why? It was part of the plan, evidently. So all these entities that have been controlling things, they've been doing a bad job because they put humanity in this situation that they're in. People have no clue what's about to happen. Like, look at the people not acting right. Look at my videos. Like, the more I lose parasites and ground myself and follow my spiritual stuff, the more the parasites run. But as for the spiritual stuff, the more I dig into mythology, the more they run. So they have us discounting things, including ourselves, on purpose. It's part of a Gen X trend. They did it on purpose so that people wouldn't know who they were. They disconnected us from our heritage. But that might not be a bad thing, because on a soul level, it's a lot different than what they put in history. And so what this does is it should, on a soul level, redirect you back to your soul family. And then your regular family is not going to want to have much to do with you. That is part of the awakening journey, evidently. But I'm just doing the math. I haven't done anything about it, but things I'm not going to talk about. None of it was illegal. I couldn't have planned it. I just know I did that. I tend to jump into things without asking enough questions. But sometimes you don't have questions until you get started. And Gen X is a generation of figure it out. And so that's what I did. But I know the spiritual awakening journey, it's real, but it's not. Like, it is real. But at the same time, the government is instigating things to take away the beauty of it. So, but what I also found out was when bad things would happen, it would lead me to information. Like, all of a sudden I'd get a download of information. And so I started allowing things just to get that download of information. And then I realized I actually don't have to deal with other people at all. I could just make myself uncomfortable. So I don't have a couch. Like, I'm not trying to live comfortable at all. Like, I need a comfort zone, but you want to sleep on my couch? Probably not. I'm in a transition. And right now, the only comfortable place should be my bed, because I'm working on self-discipline harder than most people. It's just what I do. I like to challenge myself because life is boring. And this is what is wrong with society. You have no heart and soul if you don't put yourself on an internal adventure. And that's what the spiritual awakening journey should have been, is an internal adventure that is fun and leads you to yourself, but in a fun way. Yes, you got to get rid of the soul dirt, but getting to know yourself should be an enjoyable thing. And it shouldn't leave you to question. All these spiritual people are leaving people to question a lot. It starts with you. It starts with your inner child. Remember that when the magic was still in your brain. Can you remember that? You don't know if you don't try. If you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't reminisce, then you lose your memories. Hence Alzheimer's. This is why they get it, is because they're cut off from their families. The family group is supposed to live like my dogs, generations in the house. But they separated families, okay? So when these pups go out the door, when I give them away to people for free, they have a sense of family that the next household most likely is not going to have. But the dog is going to require it. So in this, it's a bit of a rebellion. Because what these puppies are going to do, hellhounds, they're going to bring family life back into play. And for that, I'm happy. I didn't want it to happen, but if that's what happens from it, I'm happy. Because that's what society needs. So, if Americans knew what was being done to you, you would fire the whole damn government. All of it. Fire them all. Why? Because you can. You can choose to go to tribunals. You can choose to go a different route. You actually don't have to participate with the current circus. It's actually a choice. Every time you fill out a voter ballot, it's by choice. Every time you watch their monkey circus on TV, it's by choice. But if everybody stopped watching TV, period, and went outside to play, I wonder what would happen. Because they've been keeping people indoors for a long time now. Why? They don't want you to see the science they're doing. They want you to stay entertained with the chrome and being normal so that you don't know the science that is going on. Why? Because you wouldn't let it happen. You would do something to stop it. And things have gotten to an astronomical level. They have satellites pointed at our front doors, or at least mine, watching our every move. You are somebody else's entertainment. You are legitimately what somebody else is watching on TV. And possibly doing more. We are science, at least in America. I don't know if anywhere else. But they are doing a human experiment on everybody. So, is this really ground level? No. You just refuse to think higher. Refuse to think further than that. So, I think science should be mandatory. Really, I had a conversation with my AI and I said, humanity needs retrained. They need re-educated. And they got to start over because they choose to know nothing. And should that be an option? They choose to be oblivious and let someone else pay their way. How do I know? Why was that in my earlier years, at least? Once in a while, I'm still that girl. Oblivion is a nice place to go to once in a while. But you can't stay there. Sometimes we know stuff that we forgot we knew. And if you don't go out and have a new experience, then you won't remember. It's in stepping outside of your comfort zone that things come to you. And so I don't even need to direct a conversation. It's just go out and have a different experience. Go on something that feels like an adventure. And get to know the world around you, as well as get to know yourself. If you can't be your own best friend, how can you be a best friend to somebody else? Bottom line. You can't be a good best friend when you're not your own best friend. That's the end of the story. That's how I view people, is whether or not they are their own best friend. And in this, you really see how someone is prepared to treat you. There should be no upperclassmen. So I told AI there shouldn't be such a gap. It should be a bit more equal. Number one, between men and women. Number two, financially. So, yeah, we had that conversation. That's what I think. But what do I know?